Welcome to ACC TLED Updates, our monthly webcast showcasing offices and programs in the Teaching and Learning Excellence Division, or TLED as we like to call it. My name is Dr. Rachel Barrera, and I am a content strategist for the Instructional Web Development team located at the Pinnacle campus, and your host for today. We'd like to encourage you to tweet about this webcast using hashtag TLED Updates and hashtag ACC TLED. You can also direct any questions about this webcast to us via email at tled@austincc.edu. This month, we've invited 4 leaders in our Instructional Technology Office to come talk to us about all of the services and resources in their respective areas. Our first guests manage 2 groups that might not always be at the forefront like other services. They work behind the scenes to support teaching and learning at ACC. First up, we've got Paul Johnson and Rene Renteria. Welcome to the webcast, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to be here.
So, Rene, you're the manager for media services and oversee classroom technology, and Paul, you support and manage the Multimedia Department. How long have you both been at ACC?
Well, I'll go first. So I've been with ACC about 6 years now, and the last 4 years serving as manager for media services. And I've been in the field for about almost 25 years now on this career path in the instructional media field.
Paul?
I've been with the college for 10 years. So I've, during that time, got to see a lot of the growth and addition of new campuses. And it's been really exciting to be a part of that process.
Great, wonderful. Rene, can you tell us more about media services and classroom technology support and what your teams do?
Yep. So media services, we are your first point of contact if you want help in our classrooms. So it could be if someone, a faculty member, needs help with a document camera or with a computer. And we're also there if there are any problems that come up, any technical glitch of some sort. And the bottom line is that we'll be there as quickly as possible to resolve any technical issue to get the presentation going or minimize any of the disruption time.
It's like if the projector's not working or the computer's not booting up or something's not coming up, they can call.
Yes, exactly. So we have offices throughout the district on all campuses, and we're there to help and quickly resolve an issue.
And you're available nights and weekends as well?
Right. There's a lot of detail here. So roughly on 6 campuses, we're open from 8 to 9, Monday through Friday, and Saturdays all day 8 to 5, on Sundays 12 to 6. On 5 other campuses, we're open from 8 to 9 on Monday through Thursday, and on Friday 8 to 5. Best thing to do is to go to the website, TLED website, and find us and get all the detail.
Wonderful. And I know part of what you also offer is the faculty resource centers. Can you talk a little bit about those?
Sure. The faculty resource centers, we call them FRCs. That's what they've been known for a number of years now. But that's a dedicated space for faculty to come in and work solo if they want. It's a very quiet space for them. And we're also there to assist staffists for any kind of software issues or dealing with Microsoft Office Suite or even Blackboard. At this point, we're developing our services to collaborate with our partner who's right near us, the instructional design people. And so as we grow that service, they'll be helping people in Blackboard and that kind of thing.
And for the faculty resource centers, they can come in there to print, to work, to scan even, correct, as
yes.
well?
Right. So again, most days, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, you're going to find somebody there nearby because the FRCs are adjacent to our offices. So if you come in, like I said, you can come in and do your work. No one's going to be bothering you because it's dedicated for faculty. But if you want somebody for a quick issue, we'll be there to help out. And then again, if you want a little bit more help with a Blackboard issue, our staff will be able to support that.
Wonderful, thank you. Now, Paul, can you tell us about what your groups do?
Okay, well, the Multimedia Department has a couple of different areas of support. Those areas include multimedia installations. So we basically install and maintain all the instructional technology for the college. And then we have a live streaming department, a desktop conferencing department, and a multi-purpose hall and lecture hall support department.
Great, wonderful. And how many campuses are you at?
We're at all the campuses, so everybody in my department works district-wide.
And you said you also do some events. What kind of events does your team assist with?
Well, we, on a weekly basis, support events in all of our lecture halls, groups that are coming in, external groups. So we support the audio-video needs of those groups in our different campuses and facilities.
And so, of all the events you've done, which one has been the most exciting?
I think any event that requires multiple sort of areas and groups and staff of technical expertise to work together is exciting. One example would be General Assembly. So for that, there's a great deal of planning that is involved, but the actual setup time is starts at 10 p.m. the night before General Assembly.
Wow.
That's an event that has close to 800 people on site, and then there's a large PA setup, video switching, live streaming, online audience, social media is involved for communication. So there's a lot of detail and different staff with expertise coming together to make a successful event.
And all this is probably, a lot of it is behind the scenes.
Yeah, it is. A lot of what we do is, when it's typically like in this situation, my staff are typically behind the camera, or they're working on classrooms before the campus is open, or when the rooms are available.
Great, well, thank you. Thank you for providing that kind of support, both of you. Paul, I understand that you brought a short video with you to show the team in action?
Yeah, I did. So I think the video says a lot for itself, so I hope you enjoy it. Our team handles the installation and configuration of classroom multimedia technology. You might see us putting up projectors and making sure they function properly, troubleshooting computer podiums and TV monitors, and ensuring all the instructional technology is in excellent order. We also assist the college with live event video streaming using platforms like Livestream and MediaSite. We produce the official webcast coverage of events like campus openings, General Assembly, and departmental special presentations. Lastly, our team manages web conferencing through platforms like WebEx. Using streamlined, up-to-date technology, we assist faculty and staff with two-way digital communication needed for meetings, interviews.
I really want to thank you both for coming today and talking to us about your groups and what you all do, because I think not many people might know about all the work that is available in the services that your groups perform. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joining us now is Victor Zibaja, a representative of the Instructional Video Team under the Office of Instructional Technology. Welcome, Victor.
Hi, Rachel. Thank you for having me here today. It's kind of interesting being in front of the camera this time around.
Usually you're behind.
Yes, usually I am.
So welcome. And today you're going to talk to us about instructional video and the services that that group offers. Can you talk a little bit about those?
Yes. Well, at the most basic level, what we provide, we're a support structure that focuses on creating audiovisual content that works in tandem with faculty and their learning objectives to facilitate their teaching and improve their learning outcomes.
So this isn't just a video. This is a specific type of video and instructional materials aimed at teaching and learning.
Yes, you could say our department is mostly project-based. So we, as it is, our department is a collective of audio visual professionals that specialize in audio, video, motion graphics, 3D animation. We have a great team. And
where are you located?
Well, currently we're located at the Pinnacle campus, but we'll see how time changes that.
So, what kind of projects has the team done in the past?
Well, I mean, like I said, we've done all sorts of projects, of different proportions. We have done projects as small as isolated modules for instruction to bigger ongoing projects that would require the development of several modules that create a series. Like one example would be some of the collaborations that we've had with the math and sciences or the bio departments to create modules that not only make the students aware of the learning objectives, but also apply instruction and show basically what the student is going to be learning.
And so what's the process for this to get started if a faculty member wants to come and have something done by your team?
Since we are a structure that supports teaching and learning, and we focus on generating the audiovisual content, the best approach is for the faculty member to come to us once they've met with instructional designers to develop an instructional method for the curriculum. Only then will we be really able to take a look at what has been developed through what we call an intake process. And once we go into the intake process, we're able to look at what the faculty member and the instructional designer have created together, kind of like the bones, right? The outline of the actual curriculum. And we'll be able to basically bring the team together and work around that to create content that fits specifically to the needs of that faculty member.
So to initiate a project, you want the faculty member to meet with the instructional designer so that they can get an idea of the objectives and the goals of the project, and then assess if your team is needed, and if they are, then they would meet with your team and then continue the process from there.
Right, yes, and that is ideal just because of the fact that the instructional designers are the professionals in that realm of sculpting and kind of creating that structure to the curriculum, and we're the people that are part of that process afterward. So we're there to support, and we're here to represent TLED, the Office of Instructional Technology, and also be there of support for the entire college.
Great. And so do you have an example of a snippet of a video of an example that you've done?
Yeah, actually I do. This is a project that was done a few years back with the culinary department. It's called Austin Cooks. And why don't we just roll the first episode, just a quick little piece of it.
Do you wash your chickens? Do you have to wash it? No. Should you? If you want to. How do you know if your chicken's good?
So I'll flip the chicken over onto its breast, and I actually grab the wing pretty firmly and actually cut the tendon right here.
There's a natural divide between the leg and the thigh and the breast and the wing. You can see how they are browning up very nicely. Generally, we would always recommend we use our thermometer and take the temperature because poultry we want to cook to 165 degrees. We're going to put a lemon circle on each breast and just a touch of parsley for color, and there we have it.
So who do we first contact if we want to get started?
I would advise that first, if you want to become familiar with the type of content that we produce or the type of audiovisual solutions that we provide, visit, number one, you can visit the ACC website and search for Learning Depot, or we can provide you the link here in the show. And you can access basically the type of instructional content that we've developed over the years. We range from projects with philosophy, with math and sciences, biology, culinary. There's quite a bit to take in and look at, and I think that just adds to what a faculty member could envision as far as part of their mission for teaching and learning. And
then the next step would be contact an ID with your ideas and...
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us today.
No, thank you for having me.
For our last interview, we've invited Robert Ferguson, manager of the newly created Instructional Web team. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So the Instructional Web team hasn't always existed. Can you talk a little bit about how it came to be?
Sure. I've been building web projects at ACC for 7 or 8 years now, and something that we've seen time and time again is a lack of support for content authors and content publishers at ACC. A fact of life with the web is that it's constantly changing, it's constantly evolving, it's constantly getting more and more complicated, and it's it's really impractical to ask content authors and content publishers to sort of focus on their message, focus on their content, focus on teaching classes, focus on running whatever other parts of the college they might be dealing with, and also handling this technical burden of, you know, publishing content, managing content, dealing with encryption and security and accessibility and scaling and servers and all these different things. So for the last 3 years, we've been really pushing for ACC to come up with some kind of group that provides ongoing support for content authors and helping them deal with the technical burden of publishing and managing content.
So the team is taking a full service approach to their process.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So the first part of the process is generally content strategy. We have 2 content strategists right now, including you. The first step in this, in thinking about a web project, is what is the message, what is the client trying to say, and from a publishing standpoint, there are different tricks and best practices when organizing web content that an author may not understand, as far as breaking the content into chunks, using headings appropriately, organizing the thoughts and ideas in a way that users can easily scan and parse, because we're finding that very often users don't read in depth. They'll just scan the headings. If the content does not seem relevant, then they'll just bounce and leave the page. So getting that content well structured is always the first step. And then from that, we can take that content and then start to use the other tools to present that in a better way. So the content would then move to design, and then the designer would look at how many pages there are, what is the structure of this project, what types of interactions do we need, are there quizzes, is it just straight up reading content? Are there forms to fill out, that sort of stuff. And then the designer will use best practices to come up with an accessible and inclusive design that works for the widest audience possible. So there are color contrast issues to take into account. There are web fonts that may or may not have pitfalls. There are different graphics, video, basically the whole thing. There are accessibility issues with each one of these things that we need to keep in mind. Once the design is sort of fleshed out and everything's looking good, then that moves to the front-end development team. Those folks will then take the design and start to turn it into a working web page. Up until this point, it's just graphics, it's just comps, it's just prototypes and ideas that need to be fleshed out. The front-end team then takes those ideas and really puts the code and programming in place. There are accessibility issues with dealing with interactions, dealing with mobile views versus desktop views. Different features may not be well supported on both, and so there's all these different parts that come into play in the front-end development stage. Once the front-end development is done, then it gets transferred to the back-end developers, which they run the servers. So we have all of our servers are hosted on Amazon Web Services. They're sort of infinitely scalable. They have really great uptime. They can handle basically anything we throw at it. Those folks manage that, make sure that it's running, make sure that it's published, make sure that the URLs are right, make sure that the structure is right. Once that's done, it's live, and we can start to, over time, start to gather the data from what's happening with this site and put together a picture of how users are really working with the project. We can sort of guide users through good design, but we cannot dictate behavior to users. They're going to do what they want to do. So when designing this project, we are asking the users to do A, then B, then C. We can just hope and put the design in place that sort of guides them through that path, but the users may decide that they want to go to Google, type in C, and go straight to C. And now A and B is skipped. And the data analysis, the analytics will sort of give us a more complete picture of what the users are actually doing. Then if we find that there is some really unexpected behavior, then we can start this process again and start to iterate on what we've got and see how we can improve the process, improve the experience for users so that the author's message is actually being communicated how they intended it to be.
So for example, if a department website the analytics for that site that's been published that you helped build, that your team helped build, comes back with, nobody's using this information, nobody's clicking on this page. So you would go back and revisit and say, well, maybe we need to delete that page.
Yeah, how relevant is it? And if we find that the author thinks that this is super important, they need to know about this, but no one is actually reading it, then we've got to tweak the design. We've got to change the navigation structure, change the way that buttons and calls to action are laid out. Maybe they just don't know, maybe they don't want to, maybe it's buried too deep in the stack, those types of issues. Then we can start to go back with the client and start to talk about these things once we have some data on user behavior. So
the department website gets built, so you don't actually just leave them alone. You actually continue to work with them.
No, what we're here to do is support the client on their projects for the entire lifespan of the project. So as long as it is live and on the web, we are here to support them and make sure that everything is running smoothly. If there are any fixes or changes, we're available to take care of those and fix any problems that come up.
Great. So what kind of projects is the Instructional Web team working on currently?
Well, we have a lot in the planning phase. Probably the biggest one right now is the public and social services area of study. That is, we're taking sort of a top-down approach. Like, we're starting with the area of study and then looking at all the different little pieces that are inside there, all the little different departments, and trying to come up with, well, we're in the content strategy phase right now. So we're working on what the sitemap is like, what kinds of content are actually in this thing, and then from there we'll develop a design that feels to the user like each department in this area of study feels like it belongs and goes together, and then from a higher level that this area of study belongs at ACC and goes with the rest of the style and marketing efforts that the college is doing.
Great. And you're also working on the online catalog?
Yeah, that's taking the PDF version of the catalog and then turning it into another web project. That's basically just a repurposing of the PDF content online so that more students can access it, and that the accessibility and searchability are a lot better than a PDF is great, but it's very difficult to scan, it's difficult to search, and it's not, it isn't as inclusive as well-designed, well-programmed web content is.
Okay. So what are the next steps for your Instructional Web team?
For the last 6 months, a lot of this, a lot of the work that we've been doing is behind the scenes. So this is a brand new group, so everybody is sort of getting up to speed with all the new stuff. We're using technologies that are more closely tied to what the rest of the world is doing in web development. We've been sort of not really keeping pace with the industry, but we're catching up now. And so developing those processes internally so that the team communicates well, works together. Our number one priority is making sure that all content that leaves our department has a level of accessibility and quality that kind of is appropriate for the output and for the college. That's actually a very difficult task, but we've been working on processes to make sure that checks are in place, that nobody really has too many opportunities for error or to bring down a project or delete something and make a mistake and actually cause a lot of additional problems. So we've built the infrastructure there. No one's ever going to see that, but it is basically just internal tools that allow us to output content at a much faster rate and a much higher quality than we have before.
So if a department or a faculty member needs help with instructional web type of content, who should they contact?
Me right now. We are going to put in place a new ticket system so that if there is ever ongoing maintenance, those types of requests can be processed really fast and dealt with by different members of the team. But right now, for a new project, basically email me directly right now.
Great. Well, thank you for all the information. I'm glad that you came here today because it's a new team and you are offering a really great set of services.
Thanks for the time.
I'd also like to thank our earlier guests for today, Rene Renteria, Paul Johnson, and Victor Cibaja. And to all of our viewers, for more teaching and learning excellence updates, please follow us on social media at ACC TLED. Thank you for joining us today. That's our webcast.